What's up, my friends? It is Danny Gallows, of course, and welcome back to another vlog video. Now yesterday I didn't upload any vlogs because, like I had mentioned to you guys in the video before that, the day before that, my mother's birthday was on the 28th, and her and my grandmother and some of my grandmother's friends all came up from Massachusetts, and then we went down here to a very popular restaurant right on the waterfront in Portland, and we just ate some food and shared some good times, and it was awesome. So I figured I'd tell you guys a little bit about my day yesterday, and then a little bit of thoughts today for this video. So yeah, yesterday, like I said, my mother's birthday, and everybody came up to eat. And I don't like going out to eat. That's the thing. Like I don't ever go out to eat. Like, I always bring all of, like, you guys see me do food reviews and stuff on this channel and stuff like that. I always get it and bring it back and stuff just because I don't really like to go out and eat. And I'm going to be doing it more, like, Portland will have, like, food festivals and stuff like that, all kinds of festivals going on. So I'll be going out definitely to those festivals and, like, getting food and trying it there and stuff like that. To do those specific food reviews. But as for like going to a restaurant and sitting there by myself and ordering food and stuff like that, this particular time it wasn't, but most of the time I'm on my own. So like I just don't like to go out to eat. I don't like the that personal attention and stuff like that, and I don't know, just that restaurant atmosphere. Maybe it's because I worked in restaurants all my life. I started working in restaurants when I was 15 years old as a dishwasher, and I just, maybe it's because I was just around that environment so much that I don't like it, but I just don't like going out to eat in restaurants and just being out in bars. Going out to bars with like friends and stuff like that, that's fun, but again, most of the time I'm by myself, and I just don't like going out to eat by myself. So it was a little bit, I don't want to say nerve-wracking, but I was definitely a little bit anxious going into, a restaurant, even though there was a bunch of other people there, sitting at the table. Definitely a little bit of anxiety going back to the restaurant, and not to mention I was late, because what happened is I went to go see Baby Driver, which is, there's a new film out called Baby Driver, if you guys haven't seen it yet. Fantastic film. I gave it a very high score on my film review channel. But what happened is I went to go see Baby Driver at 1:30, and I was supposed to be there at the restaurant around 3:30. Now the movie is just under 3 hours. Just under 2 hours long. So I was cutting it really close. I said, I'll have just enough time to get out of the theater and to go, walk up my street and do my initial reaction, walk up the same street I always walk up to do my initial reactions, which is the street, it's basically like right behind the theater. And so I'm walking up the street, I'm doing my initial reaction, filming myself, yada yada yada, walking up the street, and then all of a sudden, like, as soon as I get done with my review, I stick my camera in my pocket and I start heading back down to the waterfront, and I look at my clock and it's like 3:40, and I'm like, oh man, and of course by the time I get down there, everybody had miraculously arrived early. Like my family, they don't arrive early to anywhere. They're always late. At least you tell them to be there at 2, they're going to be there at 3. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And so just, of course, I'm coming out of the movie theater late, and of course, today is the day that everybody decides to arrive on time, and now I'm the one who's late, and then I have to show up to the restaurant late. I was already feeling a little bit of anxiety about the restaurant, now I'm late, so, it was that awkward kind of period of saying, hello everybody, like, hi there, sorry I'm late, as I'm not making eye contact with any of you because I'm slightly embarrassed, and it's just like, but it was good, it wasn't a big deal or anything, obviously, sat down, and I got to see my grandmother. I talked to you guys a lot about my grandmother. I just did a vlog the other day about why I'm writing her memoirs. And it was so good to see her because I just haven't seen her in a really long time. It's been, I think it's been a couple of years. It's been like 3 years or something. Many of you guys know when I was like 25, 26 years old, I lived with her for a while. And then ever since she moved back down to Massachusetts, because we had a place up here in Maine, a little bit further down south from here, And ever since she moved back to Massachusetts, I just haven't seen her as much because I've always been working and busy and doing things and just, missing family events and stuff. And it sucks, it's like I got to get down to these family events and stuff like that going on because I'm really missing out on a lot. So I haven't seen her in a while, and it was really, really nice to just be there with her. I mean, she's such an amazing woman. I mean, if you guys could see her, you wouldn't believe what you see. I mean, it is, she's in a wheelchair for most of the time now because she can't walk freely anymore. But up until about a year ago, she was taking walks. You guys got to remember, like this is 97, 98 years old. Okay, like she was out taking walks every day, but now she's lost kind of like her mobility. She's slowing down a lot. She still takes walks around the apartment. She goes on big walks around the apartment to keep herself healthy. This woman eats nothing but grain and rice and fish and raw vegetables and soy milk and water and tea. And salad and stuff like that, right? She is the healthiest woman on the planet. She is 99 years old this year, and I kid you guys not, she looks like she's 75. I am not joking you. She looks like she's 75 years old. Like it's like she's a little tiny woman, of course, little frail woman. She is the matriarch of our family. I can't even remember. She's got something like, with me included, she's got something like 9 or 10 grandchildren and then like 18 or 19 great-grandchildren on top. She is the literal matriarch of our family. And she is just, I mean, you should see her skin. Like, her skin glows. Like it's smooth. There's almost no wrinkles on her face. Like, she's just healthy as can be and active, and she can hear well still, and she's very, engaged in conversation and lively and still discusses politics and world events and all kinds of stuff. And I treasure her so much, and I just anytime that I can get with her, then I'm around her and we can share stories, because me and her can talk forever. We could literally sit down and we could just have conversations forever. Especially with me writing her memoirs, I mean, she was telling me things at the restaurant, like she had written letters to like famous presidents, like Roosevelt was one of the names she mentioned, and he like actually she wrote him a letter, and like he wrote her back, and she has that letter from that president, like signed by that president, and everything, and she has all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, she even has letters from Obama. She still does that today. She has 2 letters that were actually personally sent to her by President Obama with pictures of his family at Christmas and everything. She has all that stuff. Like, she's got like historical records, like actual things and like records, and like this is why I want to put together this book so that people can see this. And it's, she was telling me stories about, during the war, about how when France wasn't allowed to have, they didn't have any coffee over there in France, and she actually she was a pen pals when she was 15 years old. 15 years old. She was pen pals with this girl from France, and they didn't have coffee during the war, so she actually sent this little French girl coffee, and she's got the letters that she sent this French girl when she was 15 years old. I mean, just a gold mine of just, I'm not talking about monetary value, I'm talking about a gold mine of historical information there. I mean, it's just ripe to be made into something complete, like a book, like a collection of some sorts that people can open and they can experience. And I'm going to go back to the Kennebunkport Historical Society, which she was once a member of, a very prominent member of, and I'm gonna go back there, and that's where I'm going to push the book. That's where I'm going to introduce the book to them, be like, do you remember her? Well, these are her memoirs, and so, but I talked about enough about that stuff, yesterday. My grandmother, obviously a very special woman, and I can't wait to put together that book. But just time with my family was great too. Of course, my grandmother's nieces, Claudia and Sister. Yep, Sister's her name. That a very, very old nickname, of course. But that's what we all call her. And just everybody there is a riot. I mean, her husband Jim is a photographer. He's showing me his pictures of him and his son on lobster lobster boats, and how he was telling me how he took a picture of like a winter scene and he sold it for $25. So again, some artistic things that I can really attach to, that I really love. But just my family is just that kind of weird, eccentric, type. We weren't all together. It was just a very, very small section, obviously, just a small percentage of the family. But still, it's always a crazy time when they're out there. They're just giving the waitresses a hard time, being funny, with that very dry sense of humor, that my family has. We have a very dry, kind of straightforward sense of humor. We're always giving people a hard time and like messing with people and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. We're all talking about, they're all talking about their medical diseases, like, oh yeah, it's like I had a little thing right here, it's like I had to have it removed. It was pressing up against my artery there. And then my grandmother, of course, comes in with a comment. She's like, yeah, this woman right here, she's like, I'm not even sure how she's still alive. And it's just like, only my grandmother could get away with saying a comment like that. It's like, what a horrible thing to say. But inside our little circle there, inside the family, it's just a joke. It's just funny. We're kind of like, we often joke about, a death and people who aren't here in our family anymore. We, like I said, we have a very straightforward kind of sense of humor, and I'll often talk about the comedians in the past that aren't part of our family anymore, our uncles and brothers and stuff like that have since passed on, that were just the jokesters and the trickmen and the con men of their day. And maybe I should put together a book also about my grandmother's brothers, because she had a couple of brothers, and all of them were, unique in their own right. Let's just say, very unique, very, very unique. And like I said, con men and tricksters and thieves and just eccentrics, and there's plenty of material to write in my family. I'll just put it like that. I think that, every time I'm with them, I always think about all of the material that I could be writing. There's just so many stories, in just my family, just these crazy people, these crazy characters. Maybe one day it'll be like a TV show or something like that. We'll kick it back to the 60s and 70s, and we'll do my family back then. Yeah, there's a pitch for you. Now, the restaurant that we went to is actually like I said, it's the most popular restaurant in Portland. It's called DeMillo's on the waterfront. You guys can, look it up on Google, Portland, Maine, DeMillo's, and it'll come up right there. It's actually an old boat. It's a ship that used to go out to sea. It actually used to take people out to sea on this big boat, and they used to go eat for lunch and dinner and stuff, and then come back into the harbor. And for some reason, they discontinued that. I've always wondered about that, but I've never really looked into the history myself, actually. But for some reason they discontinued it. They tied the boat up there and just kind of made it a permanent station, but now it's still a restaurant. And me and my mother actually used to go there all the time when we had our house down in southern Maine, a little bit farther south farther down south. And we used to go to DeMillo's, used to come up to Portland, and go to DeMillo's all the time. It's just a great restaurant. It's got this great old wooden bar, and it's right in the harbor. It's like the restaurant is one of the boats in the harbor. It's literally like it's the biggest boat in the harbor. So you're sitting there on the waterfront with all the other boats around you, and big wooden bar. And I used to go with my mother all the time. We used to get appetizers. My favorite meal, if you guys are curious, my favorite meal of all time, like my all-time favorite junk food meal, is chicken fingers and mozzarella sticks. That's like my favorite thing of all time. And I used to get that all the time when we came up to DeMillo's, and I used to get something called a virgin chocolate mudslide. They used to make it with like alcohol, like Kahlua and stuff like that, but you have them take the alcohol out, and then basically you're just left with a chocolate milkshake. And my mother knew the bartender. Her name was Sue, very, very well. Sue used to put together a notebook for me every year for school that had separate. It had all different kinds of subjects in it. So I'd have like my own Trapper Keeper for school, all pre-set up. She'd give me one every year. Very close friends. Would go, like I said, go there all the time. time. So it was great going back to the restaurant, you know, a very fitting location to go back, except this time we were in the back of the restaurant where actually I'd never been before. You know, I coming up there all my life basically, right? You know, and I'd never been to the back of the restaurant, so it was cool. You know, really, really cool. Like I said, it's got dark, dark wood and dim lighting everywhere. And it's also got windows all around, you know, the restaurant, obviously, so you can see out into the harbor. Just, you know, windows just wrapped around the entire level of the restaurant. And you can see boats coming in and out of the harbor, the ferries and all the tour boats and stuff like that. You can see them coming out, going right by your head, basically. So it's really, really awesome to be back in that restaurant and to just share those great times with my family. Just, you know, goofing around and having fun and laughing at crazy things and being eccentric and stuff like that. It reminds me of how much I miss them, and I don't get down there, you know, to see everybody, because like I said, that's just a small section of my family, you know, and it gets crazier from there, you know. So it's like you know, I need to get down there and see them more. It's just that, you know, I never have the money to travel, you know, I don't drive, you know, so it's like, I never have the money to get down there, you know, so, or the availability or anything, so I have to make some time as I start, you know, saving more and getting more comfortable, you know, money-wise, you know, I'll have more availability to travel, and then of course I'll be down there, to see them more. But as for my food, I got the best fish sandwich. Of course, the most popular restaurant in Portland has the best fish sandwich around. You know, a big hunk of fried haddock, delicious creamy tartar sauce, and then the pickles, man. Just the pickles. You know, they're not sour and they're not sweet and they're not plain and they're not vinegary. They're just perfect, like perfect deli pickles. I love them so much. A great compliment to the fish sandwich. Of course, artisan bread on top, thick cut steak fries. Cleared the plate. Cleared the plate. You know what I'm saying. Got there late, and I still finished before everybody. Gotta take advantage, you know. That's an $11 fish sandwich, by the way, which is a good price. It's a good price because they could charge a lot more, but you know, DeMillo's still, it's not, it's an upper class restaurant, but it's like not all the way there. It's still like a humble restaurant, you know. It's still like a blue collar restaurant, but it's like slightly upper class. It's just got that edge to it. So you gotta take advantage, gotta have the best fish sandwich, and it was awesome. And then a whole ordeal as we were outside in the parking lot afterwards trying to take trying to take, you know, a big picture with each other, and we're just kind of like blocking up the driveway. People are trying to like drive, you know, up through the lane, like, you know, to get out of the restaurant or to like circle around and come back around front. And like we're standing there in the middle of the road, like taking pictures, and people are like honking at us, and you know, my grandmother's being wheeled around in a wheelchair, and you know, backing this huge white SUV that everybody came up in, you know, like out of the driveway and blocking everybody off again, and you know, getting my grandmother into the car, and everything's taking forever, you know, and it's just like, you know, I just had to pause for a minute, you know what I'm saying, and kind of just like, you know, like, that's my family, you know, like, that's pretty cool, you know. It's just, we all have that moment, you know. Our families are cool to you know, every one of us uniquely, you know, in our own rights and in our own ways, it was so wonderful to just you know, be there and share that time with them, and to cause havoc and trouble like we always do, and be a pain to people, and just goof around and stuff. It was great. And then I went back home, and that's where I've been ever since. And then I just did my review for Baby Driver this morning. That's uploading actually right now as we speak. I got the day off today. It's a cloudy, overcast day. It's a good day to take it easy. And then tomorrow I should be going out to Long Island, which is an island that I've never been to before, out here in Portland. And what I want to do is I just want to head out there. Of course, I'm going to take you guys with me. I want to head out there because I want to do some filming later. Obviously, I have an HD camera here, and this camera right here is what I use to take out with me when I'm doing like professional filming. But I have to scout those locations first. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to take you guys with me out on our adventure to Long Island, and we're going to just kind of walk around and just kind of get lost, you know, and just kind of see what's up out over there. You know, are there places to, you know, what's the scenery like over there? You know, there's got to be a general store. Apparently there's a general store, and there's a restaurant, and there's even a school too. So it's like, you know, it's a little tiny little island, but apparently there's like, you know, quite a large community over there. So I got to go over there, check it out. We're going to take some video. We're going to do some scouting for Story World, which is my other channel that I upload all of my like, you know, professional adventure videos on. And yeah, so that'll be fun tomorrow. We'll be doing that tomorrow morning. Hopefully, we won't get trapped by some thunderstorms, because I heard it's supposed to stick around until tomorrow morning. So we'll see how it is. If the weather's really bad, you know, I'm not going to be able to go out and do it, obviously. But you know, we'll find something else to do if that's the case. But hopefully, we will be able to get out there. But until the next time we meet, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this vlog, and you know, as always, letting me share my my life and my stories and my experiences with you. So until the next time we meet, take care, guys, and I'll see you later.